Welcome back to Any Recapped. Today we will cover the series Gargantia on the Verdurous Planet. Make sure to subscribe to Any Recapped and hit the bell icon to be the first one to watch our new recaps. Let's begin. Humans have left Earth to establish Avalon as humanity's future home, forming the Galactic Alliance of Humankind to help them in their mission. Hyda's mollusk-like life forms surface as a danger to the Galactic Alliance, and a battle erupted between them. As Ensign Leto prepares to leave for his mission, his machine caliber chamber K6821 notifies him that he has been selected as a worthy human of visiting Avalon, where he would be given the freedom of sleep, nourishment, and reproduction. Despite these delights, he is unenthusiastic about them. Although he may have had some fondness for it in his childhood, that affection has since evaporated. Their chat is cut short as his captain orders him to prepare to join the attack against the Hydos. As they exit the wormhole, their squadron encounters the adversaries and begins fighting. During these moments, Leto thinks about nothing but his opponents ahead of him, allowing no concern to enter his thoughts so he may focus exclusively on wiping out the enemy. After their powerful strike, the adversary begins to gain ground. The onslaught eventually fails, and Leto's commander, Kugel, issues a withdrawal order. However, since they need someone to stop the enemy's progress, Leto agrees to keep them back until his colleagues return. Colonel Kugel orders him to return since he is a young soldier destined to kill many of his enemies. On his way back to the wormhole, an opponent confronts him, and the two battle. He is unable to return because he is too preoccupied with the enemy and is hurled out into space. 6 months later, the crew of the salvage ship Gargantia recovers Chamber from the ocean's depths, but is unable to disassemble it. When Leto awakens, he finds himself in an unfamiliar area. After he quizzes Chamber about it, he studies the situation and concludes that although these individuals have the same form as him, their level of civilization is significantly lower. After everyone has left, Leto begins to explore and inspect his present situation, but Amy bursts in with Pinion, the head of repairmen. Since she wants to look around, Pinion is surprised to uncover evidence of someone's steps and cautions Amy to be cautious. However, he is too late, and Leto kidnaps her. Chamber believes that his approach is illogical, whereas Leto believes that if he takes her as a prisoner, they will not attack him. He's taken aback by how different the planet he's now on is. Suddenly, the whole team surrounds him on a pylon. The pillage of weapons does not frighten him, but the blazing sun and the sparkling and enchanting sea are enough to draw his attention away for him to lose hold of Amy. He summons Chamber, who affirms that this is the planet where mankind originated. Everyone is shocked that the machine they have been attempting to fix is now flying in front of them. Leto remains tied to the pylon and tries to strike up a cordial conversation with Rigid, the fleet commander's assistant. At the same time, Chamber interprets for Leto and shocks the crew members by being an unmanned machine. Rigid has no idea what to do with Leto and consults with the other crew members. They first question Amy since she had the closest brush with Leto, but instead of him slapping her fetas, she has nothing worthwhile to share. Pinion suggests that they disassemble the machine. She feels the same way, but her supervisor fears that if they aren't cautious, Leto and Chamber may pose a danger letter, forcing them to forsake the idea of eliminating it. Meanwhile, Chamber questions Leto about not assaulting the enemy since the former feels he is powerful enough to wipe them off. When he suggests that they use force to keep them from revolting, Leto responds that their objective now is to contact someone they know. He is fascinated by the relaxing sound of the coasts and the birds soaring near the port as if chanting long-lost poetry, which strikes him deep within his heart. Leto feels that the Earth, which they thought had long perished, may become their new home owing to its richness, but he lacks the authority to submit the proposal since he is not a military officer. The opinion is halted by the townsfolk, who demand an explanation for the recent incident, while Amy visits her sick younger brother Beeble to give him a little ship's wheel to finish his model ship. When she informs him about Leto, he expresses his wish to see him and discloses that he may have descended from the sky, as people used to leave the Earth due to ice. Later, as a friendship ritual, Amy approaches Leto with fish to eat. Leto first believes this is a threat, but when Chamber assures him that she intends no harm, he chooses to eat it. When she asks where he is from, he gestures to the sky. She is astounded that humans live on the stars and is impressed by her brother's theory. Following that, she reveals that this planet known as Earth was previously frozen over, and some people opted to remain. The ice soon thawed and turned into a big ocean, where numerous people formed ships to rescue ancient technologies from underneath. Amy notifies him about the galactic current after hearing thunder someplace. Since they need to charge their ships with electricity, they search for galactic currents, which frequently fall in the form of thunder and help them charge their ships. The next day, Ridge dispatches Bellows, the excavation team's leader, to the location where Chamber and Leto were discovered, but Bellows' ship is assaulted by pirates. Amy, having no other option, requests that Leto assist them, which he accepts, winning their confidence. As Leto boards Chamber and swiftly kills the pirates while causing no damage to Bellows' ship or crew, Amy and the others stare in awe at Chamber's deadly force, stunned by the descent of the foreign technology. When they all observe the terrible power of Cha the members, they are amazed that such a thing exists. However, Leto, who crushes opponents and expects a compliment, has not received one. Amy disapproves of his conduct since he murdered human life without hesitation. Given that they have little influence over Leto's actions, the Gargantia leaders consider the potential reprisal they may face if the pirates do not keep quiet. One of them feels they should give him up to the pirates, but they are afraid of Leto joining forces with them. Bellows takes Amy to see Leto, and they explain to him that guns should only be used as a last option. Leto does not share their emotions since he was reared in an atmosphere where he was forced to murder his enemies. But he rapidly realizes that individuals must depend on one another to thrive in their society. Following Amy's reconciliation with Leto, a vast pirate fleet headed by the pirate Empress Luckage starts an assault and approaches Gargantia slowly. Ridget and her commander examine the issue and arrive at the conclusion they will have to battle the pirates once again. Initially, some are against the notion that they should approach Leto for aid after what he has done. They have little alternative now that the battlefield is upon them. Bellows promptly calls his number using the device she provided him. After discussing the matter with Ridget, Leto offers to assist them once again in exchange for their acceptance on the onboard fleet, and to destroy the enemies with as few losses as possible. Leto disables the pirate ships in the front lines at night and begins diverting them. On the other hand, the Gargantua initiates their assault despite being vastly outnumbered. After eliminating the enemy armaments on their ship without killing anybody, Leto returns to the Gargantia to deal with a surprise assault commanded by Luckage herself, flying her unique humanoid-shaped mecha named the surfing lobster Yunburo. She feels she can take him to the water and test his strength, but Leto refuses to give her an edge and lets her soar through the skies. Despite Leto's warning, she refuses to listen, leading him to swing her up in the air and fling her far away, easily defeating her and her henchmen and forcing the pirates to flee. After the conflict, he stands tall in the air like a beacon of hope for the people. Leto is welcomed by Amy after being hailed by the crew of the Gargantia, and he responds by thanking her, the first native expression he learned. Following his success in stopping Luckage's surprise assault, Leto assists the employees in transporting their products. Despite Chamber's strength, he cannot function successfully since Leto has never worked on something like this before and has yet to learn what he should do. It is revealed that he got an invoice to pay for his collateral damage, although get assured that he would be exempt from living costs and the charge for having Chamber on board. Because he is unable to instruct the Chamber and move packages, one of the workers volunteers. While Chamber assists the other employees, Leto may be seen constructing the Hado's claw that he always keeps with him. When Emmy arrives, he gives it to her as a friendly gesture and discloses that they are not found on Earth. Because he is now free, she takes him out for a walk and chooses to introduce him to her brother Beeble. However, the term sibling is foreign to him since soldiers are taught that communities and families are unnecessary. He goes on to say that crippled individuals would be disposed of on their planet since they had no purpose for the government. Amy brings Leto to visit resident Dr. Oldham, the most knowledgeable guy on the Gargantians. He is seeking information. After Amy has left, Leto inquires about returning to his home, the Galactic Alliance. He unfortunately does not provide anything valuable and reveals that much of humankind's previous technology has been destroyed, making it difficult for the Gargantia to assist him in returning to space. Because Leto still has some time, he questions the Doctor about the chain of command on Gargantia and blames it for being flawed because it protects the weak. Dr. Oldham sees right through his narrow thinking but also understands where he is coming from. Following some conversation, Amy brings Leto to see Beeble, who questions Leto about his existence in space. Beeble is astounded by how excellent A, or Chamber, is since he understands their language and culture so well. Leto exposes humanity's war against Hados and the stars and informs him how they will be dealt with if the military discovers they have no purpose for a soldier. Because Leto thinks he will continue to battle the enemy and will not do anything else, Beeble wonders what their mission will be after they have destroyed the enemy, to which he has no response. While pondering Beeble's question, it begins to drizzle and Leto assists in collecting rainwater to refill the fleet's freshwater supply. Later, as they are conversing, Leto reveals that the sensation of splashing water falling from the sky and striking his skin is something he has never experienced before. After Leto warns him about what happens to ill individuals, Beeble says that he is not necessary. He feels that as long as his sister is alive, they will meet each other. But since Leto never shares his feelings with anybody, he cuts it short. During their conversation, Beeble takes up his flute and realizes that Leto was crafting a flute. Leto tears up when Beeble plays it, recalling a long-forgotten memory. Leto subsequently questions whether he should learn more about their surroundings after requesting Beeble return the flute. At the same time, Chamber comments that he must ultimately leave it all behind upon returning to his unit. After considering Beeble's words, Leto resolves to seek work, but he is unable to locate a job that matches his abilities or desire. Amy comes and pays him for his labor with them the day before. She is surprised when he informs her that they are not paid in space since it is deemed worthless. When Leto expresses a desire for a job, she assures him that she will assist him in finding one. The two wander throughout Gargantia seeking work but are unsuccessful, and Amy finally leaves since she has a job to complete. Leto does not give up and continues to look for it, but he eventually realizes the truth. He may not be qualified for these positions. Soon after, the Gargantia stops moving for maintenance, taking advantage of the calm day when winds and waves are absent and all personnel, save repairmen, have some free time. Despite being a repairman himself, Pinion invites Leto and Amy to the beach, along with her colleagues Courier Saya and Melty. Due to the lack of energy, Pinion seeks assistance from the chamber in preparing meat. However, instead of assisting them, he adds to their concerns by incinerating the meat. Because he needs Leto for an errand, he tells him that it is something only he can do, which increases his zeal. The girls are excited about the role, but they are also concerned that they may gain weight. Chamber is perplexed by this, and of course, he is the one who expresses his inability to comprehend what goes through a woman's mind. Meanwhile, Leto arrives at Granny's house, and instead of greeting her, he is met by a swarm of They Slash Them who begin following him. When Pinion notices Chamber's design on the beach, he begins using him as a grill. Rigid assigns Amy, Saya, and Melty to turn on the sprinkler on top of a crane tower, and the three use the chance to compete on surf kites. During the race, Amy protects Leto from being followed by those individuals whom Leto probably believes are some ancient witches. He has yet to recover from the trauma when power is restored, and they all return to the party after finishing their jobs, with Leto arriving soon after bringing a bottle of sauce, the item that Pinion asked him to bring from an old lady. Leto is taken aback by how they are cooking the beef using Chamber's body heat. Before the peaceful day, Concludes reveals to Leto that Pinion planned the party to cheer him up since he couldn't find work. After receiving his first pay, Leto is dubious about whether he fully deserved it since he feels they paid him considerably more to cheer him up. Amy approaches him and quickly realizes that he may be feeling this way since it is his first time getting paid. Bent on assisting him, she leads Leto to a fisherman, where he expresses his desire to work. However, since there is no computer system to lead him to his assignments, he quickly finds it impossible to command. As he dives beneath, he warns the fisherman that he cannot swim, allowing him to lose the job he had obtained and face the reality that finding a suitable career would be much more difficult. Amy cheers him up by bringing him out to lunch, where she is approached by her co-workers, who notify her about the party they must attend. Conversely, Leto sends Chamber to the fisherman to do the deed in his place. Later, Pinion finds him euphoric in his melancholy and asks him to lunch. While Amy, Saya, and Melty entertain the audience at the festival with their elegant dances, Leto remains undisturbed but frozen by Pinion's comments about them not understanding him. Pinion offers him a job on his repairman group to earn his confidence, but Bellows appears and offers him a job on her excavation team as well. After much squabbling, their order arrives and Leto fires his revolver at a grilled octopus, mistaking it for a high-dose. Pinion and Bellows, on the other hand, convince him that it is delicious nourishment, not an enemy. Meanwhile, Chamber completes his work, but instead of receiving plaudits, he is confronted with criticism as he minces the fish due to his careless capturing method. Because Chamber is unable to do the work alone, Leto boards him to assist the other fishermen in correctly obtaining a great catch using enormous nets. Later that night, Amy and Leto spend some time alone together and become closer. Natural ocean lights put Leto on high alert. He prepares to protect Amy until she calms him down and reminds him there was simply a galactic current that appeared, allaying his fears. Since she assures him that he will get better by practicing, he requests her to dance for him, and she agrees. Leto has nothing on his mind except the astonishment he feels while watching her dance under the dazzling sky with auroras rushing past like an inferno. Following that, in Babel's room, he tells them that he received a message from Bellows asking him for a job. The next day, Leto undertakes salvage work with Bellows, and everything goes pretty smoothly until an underwater beast comes. Leto abandons his task to face it when the Chamber recognizes it as a high-dose. Will Leto ever find a way back to his planet? What do you guys think? Find out in the next video. Thank you so much for staying until the end. Make sure to subscribe to any recap for more similar videos. Bye.